Quiet is room in the house. You know the drill. So, we'll get right into it. So last time we talked, I mentioned that the last couple concepts or the subject matter of the translations and everything was very different than the other stuff, thinking about yourself and everything, personal behavior, I guess. But considering what the song was about last week and what we talked about being different, about being having a different mentality, a different values than people, biblical ideas. Considering that this one concept, it's not necessarily a translation, there's like a portion of it that turned into a translation, but it's just been an idea that I've had, sort of a conviction that I've had about things for a while. And it started because of my parents, my dad, but I've sort of found my own my own explanation for it, I guess. But anyway, so in keeping with the theme of being different, this is something that I felt like could be appropriate to talk about now because of that. And one of the things that I find very different for myself than with basically everyone that I know is that dating, Western dating culture, I don't advocate it, and I don't date. I feel that it's ineffective, basically. It doesn't work for what it was intended to do, and then it's become something entirely different anyway. So, in the beginning, quote unquote, dating was meant to be the means to finding a spouse, basically. The precursor to engagement and then marriage. It's like it was like a trial run, basically. And then it sort of morphed into this idea of like you're married, but then you don't have any of the commitment behind it. There's no certificate, no legal anything. It's just kind of a I like you, you like me, so let's pretend sort of that we're a thing, an item together. But at any point, if we decide to, then we'll just not be together anymore. All the privileges and the rights of saying that's my girlfriend or my boyfriend, but it doesn't mean anything necessarily. But I call those relationships hyper-platonic relationships. Platonic meaning friends, so hyper more than friends, basically. And with that mentality that you're not really looking forward to marriage these days, with that thing. Like I said, it's sort of just I like you, you like me, let's oblige each other's feelings to some degree. There may be boundaries, there may not be, but they're always bound to break from this level, to back to, not even being friends, or there's always going to be that awkward tension there, if it does not work. So your only two options then with those types of relationships is to get married or don't get married, because even marriage these days is basically meaningless, because at any point we can just break it off. But that's a whole different thing. But so you either make it a lifelong commitment, with all of the responsibilities and the rights that come with the title and the relationship status, or it degrades, if you want to say it like that. And to me, that's nonsensical, basically. Doesn't make sense to at least the most prominent principle is that whole responsibilities and rights relationship. If I am going to claim this person as mine, and I have certain rights and certain liberties to that person, whatever. Maybe, I can kiss her or whatever because I'm her boyfriend and nobody else can. Then I better be willing and better be capable of fulfilling all the responsibilities that come with calling her mine and claiming those things, those privileges, because it is a privilege. And that's why there's marriage, because you have the privileges of being married, and that's what comes with the vow. That's what comes with the contract. Otherwise, it's all emotional fixes. Like I said, just will oblige our feelings. And if that's all that it is, then really there should be no problem with breakups. There should be no issues with that kind of thing. But everybody wants to claim there's a jealousy to that. There's a there's a competition to that. And because you want to claim the rights without taking the responsibility, without taking the chain of, then what's it for? Then just having fun, basically. And of course you could say, well, like I said, these days people don't even get married. They just stay together and they have kids and they, all, the whole 9 yards. And they might stay like that for decades, And if that's the case, then why not just get married? Because, like I said, marriage doesn't have any meaning these days, and that's why it gets into a whole another conversation. But because all of these things are true about it, that's why I say where it is, I don't consider it very effective. And especially with all of the culture around getting there, the dating apps, and one night stand apps, and the constant peer pressure to have these experiences and those it's like trophies that you've had these many relationships and whatever, like it means something for you. But the statistics in my head, I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty much 100% certain that way more often than not, those relationships don't work. That's why people have so many exes, and that's why so many less people are married or get married. It's like the ratio to relationships and marriage or staying together is very lopsided. And so the formula doesn't work. It's the what is the word? The success rate of dating is not high. It's very low. So something's wrong with it, and I would opt to try something else. And I will say as a disclaimer, this is not gonna be. We're not gonna talk about everything in this video, so it most definitely will be multiple parts to this, especially getting into probably the most prevalent question in your head right now is, okay, so what's the alternative? And so we can talk about that next time probably, but it's like I said last time, just last week. I take pride in, sort of, in the least arrogant sense, in the least prideful sense of that phrase. I take pride in this, in holding to this idea that, especially if I'm looking to be married one day, and if that's in the considerations and everything, then I'm preparing myself basically to fulfill the responsibilities that come with all the icing on the cake and everything. I'm not looking for the emotional stuff. I'm looking for the responsibilities and building something, building family, raising good citizens and godly children, being a godly father and a godly husband, and all of the goodies come with that. It's like that's what you get with, I just heard recently, basically the conclusion of the thing was like, marriage isn't all the happy stuff. Marriage is all the difficult stuff, and staying together with and being together, supporting each other through the whole thing. And that's what people miss a lot these days, I think, with the whole dating scene, and even in marriage. And there are exceptions, there are people who supposedly did it right, have done it well, and it's come out good, but that's the success rate. Like I said, it's hard to do it right and to keep it good when you do it the way that the world does it. And so that's why I want to do it different. And of course, it's not everything that, it's like the world cooks with salt, so I'm not gonna cook with salt. Like, there are things that they just work, and the rest of everybody else happens to do it effectively, and those are good. But more often than not, the percentages are far from 50-50. God's way just works a lot better, and so I want to be different, and that's one of the things that I've come to see. I have no right to call this girl mine if I'm not gonna, if there's no commitment there, if there's no responsibility there, and that's what marriage is. So that in between stage of the fling shouldn't be there for me, and we'll explain it more and explain my alternative thinking next time we talk about this. But that's about it for now. It's so important to, like I said, like starting out this whole series or whatever you want to call it, it's important to ask these questions and to be considering these things about life and about how people do things, the meaning of things, and to see maybe I'm doing it wrong, maybe they're doing it wrong, and what better place to look for a better way to do it, a different way to do it, the best way to look at life than the way that God looks at it, the right way to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do here, and I'm just sharing it with you, telling you about it. And if you like it, then sure, you can. I won't copyright strike you for it. But anyway, okay. I'll see you guys next time.